take a look at this. BGR has obtained images of the actual device itself. It closely resembles the leak we saw just a little bit ago of the prototype, and it basically has a stainless steel border going around the phone, a longer power button, that dual vertical camera on the rear, and a glass design front and back. This is very, very close in resemblance to all the leaks and schematics and everything that we've seen, so this may be your first look at the actual device. Front of the device isn't very clear here, so we can't really make out what's going on there, but it looks quite sleek. I like it. It's a bit thick, a bit chunky looking, but I think that's just the proportions here. Otherwise, thumbs up for me. I do like the way it looks. And earlier last week, Apple was granted a patent to make this design a reality, to make the technology that we've been hearing so much about a reality, and that would be the bezel-less display as well as embedded Touch ID. Officially, the patent note is called reducing the border area of a device. So essentially, you're going to be able to get a huge display on the front of the phone, making use of that display to put in more menus, stuff like that. That's what it talks about in the description, as well as the possibility of a fingerprint embedded underneath the glass on the front of the display without having to put an ugly fingerprint sensor on the rear of the phone or even on the power button. So that's cool. This brings us one step closer for that to be a reality, but we're going to have to wait and see if Apple could fit that in before the release. And the reason I mention this is because you're not going to like this next piece of news. A research firm called CLSA has said there is a very high chance that the rear Touch ID may stick around after all, like the Galaxy S8, just because Apple didn't have enough time to put it into the front of the display. I really hope they're wrong, but they even provided these diagrams to show us what that would look like. They give us an area on the back of the phone where this would be embedded, and they didn't necessarily say there would be a circle for it. It may be just right underneath the glass, who knows. That'd be a little bit more elegant, but still, I'd much rather have it on the front of the phone. Comfort-wise, usability-wise, it's a much better solution. So these diagrams basically show how that would work and how this thing roughly will look. And I just wanted to clarify the display on the front of the phone on the very top. How is that going to work? We know on the bottom there's a very good chance that it will go all the way down and around the edges of the phone, but the top, we've got the earpiece in there, we've got all the sensors, so the best, most realistic look as to how Apple is going to do it is like this. They're essentially going to carve those around the display, and with an OLED, that is definitely possible. And this was confirmed by Vania Geskin. He said this, from his insider source, said is how it's going to look. Apple's going to do something similar, and his own concept is like Apple will stick the status bar up in there, the time. They'll make use of it with a black kind of a blend in the top corners of the display. I think that looked kind of cool, but we kind of guessed this in a concept, didn't really know that's how it would be. Apparently, that's how it is going to be now. Some good